This is from Biafra's Got Talent. We are letting Biafrans know the reason why we should remember those who gave their lives for us, those who died, that we may live.
You died to end my suffering. You died fighting for my freedom. Your blood is the seed of redemption. You are my inspiration.
The deed no longer them, military shots at them. 67 to 70, we remember them. 2016, 38 May, memory still lives in our mind till today. Wonder why they refuse to publicize the genocide. The world media turn blind eyes to our plight. It's time to arise, land of the rising sun. Let's rise one more time, let's rise.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes, those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Tell them I got that day, oh. Remember when me tell you say I got that day, oh. Yeah, I remember that one that called us a prospero. But the way you go like a papa nuku. But then when we go me tell you what I look and the what on this amiro. Me tell you what I day. For me the plan and the rest of man I tell you what I do. Me no back and forth. Me tell them
Fallen heroes, I want to promise you something today. We must fight together, no retreat and no surrender. We must hold them down till the end of time. The most important thing is that we will restore Biafra. May your soul rest in peace.
I look up to the sky with tears in my eyes. For other Biafrans and for freedom had to die. We will never forget you as the days go by. You are always in my heart, you'll never be apart. They fought for our freedom, they died for our freedom. They fought the Nigerian soldiers in the war front, without food, without guns, for our freedom, for our life, for our own good, for our children. We love them, our heroes, we want them.
My heart bleeds when I saw them slain. Where will I be now if not then? They will remain indelible in my heart forever, 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 and ever, and ever, and ever.
We serve in your plantation, and the way you paid us back with your bloody starvation. We play in our history that the death of our people is a mystery. No going back to get to a victory. I had a voice now call for vengeance. I never get bombed, I'ma blow like a vengeance.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes, those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Where will I be now if not you? You died at Mali.
Yeah, we are starved to death because of our freedom, and they paid the debt for our freedom. Flag high for those that died in the genocide, fighting for you and I. There is pain in our heart, we bleeding inside, tears in the eyes of our fallen heroes.
This is for my fallen heroes. Give them a motivation, people. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Cause to be a cast, I need to be a nurse. If we did not retire,
They paid the ultimate price. They died for the freedom of unborn child.
and conquer us. Yeah, you know what it is.
It's like I'm looking at myself in
We
the
must
mirror.
revenge, and we must stand to represent who we are.
Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion.
Fighting a war, knowing the difficulties, the odds against us, there is an element of fatalism, people feeling, well, if the world chooses to abandon us, then perhaps it is better we all perish. They don't ever consider a Biafra not free. They believe in either Biafra free or no Biafra at all. That means none of us living to see it.
I need Biafra freedom. We Biafrans, we need Biafra freedom. For this, I decided, even to die, that Biafra must have its own freedom.
I want us to work systematically towards the establishment of a good, progressive, and democratic society where all vestiges of privilege and social injustice will be abolished, and the rich contribute more for the welfare of the poor. If civil war comes, and I do think it is imminent, you're quite right, it will for us be the price of freedom. Our people here have for a long time been prepared for this eventuality, and I am confident of their readiness. I think that when it does come, the people on the other side would be surprised as to what they're going to get. And I'm confident that it will not last long.
We'll surely come out as a nation because we're fighting a just cause. Even a little child on the street will tell you this. We shall never go back to Nigeria again. God's grace will surely emerge as a nation. And so, as far as this war continues, we'll fight to the last man.
This is what Biafra is, the end of the journey for a persecuted, massacred, pursued people. We have made all attempts at a democratic resolution of this crisis. I have offered open elections, plebiscite. I have offered just an open carte blanche suggestion, anybody who can find a democratic way of finding out the wishes of the people, let him suggest it and we will go for it.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Holy, holy.
If you do not believe in what we are doing, then you better get out. We're not going to stop. God knows we can never stop until Biafra is restored. We are peace-loving people. We abhor death and killing of another soul. It's in our nature, that's how we are. But because of that, they have been coming and killing us all these years. We've kept quiet. They've been killing and killing and killing quiet. We have a case at the ICC. We have a case at Africa Union. We have a case at what else again? Pending before the UN. in New York. We've been to Geneva to tender our case. Before UN, till today, nothing. In fact, the more we complain to them, the more they come to abduct and rape our children, the more they come to kill us, the more they want to take over our land and our forests. And who told them that's going to be possible in our time? In a time, in a movement that I lead, you think you can come into our land and take it over? Oh dear. That means you don't know who we are.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this very evening program. Happy weekend, everyone. Everyone who have joined, I wish you a very happy weekend. It is another weekend program. We are going to do it as quick as possible. As you know, that is a very critical time where we continue to create awareness, continue to speak to the world, and continue to bring informations to the people. This evening, we are going to touch a little bit. We are going to touch so many items this evening. We're going to touch on the problem that we are all facing now, the propaganda, the blackmail against our leaders, the blackmail against the struggle. And we will also look into the attack against the Igbo people, the marginalization, the troubles that we have been facing, and also the Christian genocide in Nigeria, the confirmation, and all that is happening. A lot is happening. It's a very interesting time, I say it. It's a very interesting period. Things are not the way we think it is. A lot of changes have happened, and I said that this is an appointed time. Chukwu Okikabiyama will do a thing that he will do. So many things are happening. With all the propaganda and blackmail against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, progress is being made. And the progress is making the enemies to go crazy. The progress that we are recording is making the enemy go crazy. But is it going to stop anything? It is not going to stop what is right to be done. More clips are coming out from Knesset, Israel. All this you are seeing are things that are happening in Israel. Our people are making wave in their parliament, reaching out, meeting people that need to be met. And serious talks are going on in Israel. But our enemies are not happy. When they see it, they get angry. They see it, they get agitated. They push propaganda, they try to stop it. Since they cannot claim the credit, they try to stop it. And it is only a devil, a wicked devil, that will see the progress we are making and they will be angry. Normally, every normal human being or every genuine Biafra is supposed to be happy. When you see these kind of images, when you see these images where Biafrans are making waves in Israel, meeting people that matters, in Knesset, in their parliament, meeting parliamentarians one by one, discussing with them on the issue of Biafra. This is a time for us to be happy. It's an interesting time, but our enemies are not relenting. Our enemies are battling more. Our enemies, they are pushing their propaganda more. But we must not allow them to stop us. No matter how they try, we cannot allow them to stop us. That is why we will continue to do what we are doing. We will continue to make wave. We will continue to speak. We will continue to make sure that the voice of the Biafra people is heard. So this evening, that is why we are here. Encouraging every Biafran to continue to be strong. All hope is not lost. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, even though he's in detention, he is still making wave. Our enemies cannot stop us. Biafra is going to come, whether they like it or not. Because what we are facing today in Nigeria is not a simple matter. It's not a joke. That is why everywhere you are, the most important thing in your heart should be, how are we going to get our nation Biafra? Wherever it comes from, it doesn't matter who brings it. It doesn't matter the group that went for it. You should be happy whenever you see a move made for Biafra. It doesn't matter who goes there or the group that is going, whether your father, your mother, your sister, your friend, or your group is there or not. Celebrate it. Celebrate it. it shows that the fire of Biafra is burning and burning very, very hard. We are not stopping. They thought by kidnapping Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa that we will stop. But I just realized that the absence of our leaders have made us much more resilient, much more bold. So wherever you are as a Biafran, don't look back. You have a responsibility to do something. And as we speak, do whatever you can do. I encourage all Biafrans this weekend. Tomorrow is Sunday. You go to church tomorrow. Pray for Biafra. Pray for our leaders. Pray for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Pray for Mazi Simon Ekpa, who is coming to appeal on August. August is fast approaching. Pray for him. Pray for him. Pray for our lobbies. All our brothers and sisters that are lobbying in different places. Pray for them. All those that are genuinely pushing for Biafra in one word, that pray for them. That is what we are supposed to be doing. I pray that Chukwu Okikabiam will continue to guide us, protect us, and show us a path to go. We must not relent. That is the movement that Biafrans are making across board. What you are seeing is not an AI. This is not AI. It is real Biafrans making their case internationally. If you don't celebrate it, you know that you are a witch. We have gone through so many trials and temptations, failures, right, left, and center. And we cannot continue to fold our hands. We have suffered a lot. We have suffered a lot. We have suffered a whole lot. And we cannot continue to allow this suffering to continue. That is why every one of us stand up. What we faced before the Civil War is even worse today. The intimidation, the abuse, the insult, it is getting too much. The hatred is worse than it was even before the Civil War. This is the time for us to make it right. Those who were there before us didn't do it right. Those who call themselves founding fathers. Those who call them founding fathers, they call themselves founding fathers, who were there before. Who created this problem? They are the people. Someone like Dr. Nanazikiwe, he is part of the problem we are facing today. He is part of the problem. They created this problem that we are facing today. And I want us to listen to this video and hear what this man has to say about the intimidation and marginalization of the Biafra people, more especially the Igbo people. I want us to pay close attention to this interview. It is very interesting. So many of us don't even know history again. We don't even know our story because you are in Nigeria. Nigeria doesn't allow you to know your story. They don't even want you to speak. So when you have opportunity to see certain programs, listen to it. Listen, learn. Let us hear from this interview what was said.
You're welcome, sir. Okay, sir, we will be talking about Igbo marginalization. That's why you're here. And we have been instructed that you have a lot of juice, that we should squeeze all the knowledge you have because we want to learn. We're younger, we're young people, and we want to gain from your wealth of experience. When we talk about Igbo marginalization, there's one name that always pops up. I know there are lots of other names, but we hear of Nnamdi Azikiwe. We hear of him. So for Ndigos, do you think he was a blessing or he was a curse?
Well, the question, as you know, I think is a difficult one to answer because he was both.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, both a blessing and both also a curse. Frankly speaking, I can tell you that he is more of a curse than a blessing to the Igbo people or the Igbo race. That's how I want to put it. Yeah.
So why would you say that? That he's more of a blessing, he's more of a curse, you said, than a blessing.
Yeah. I'm saying this because, if I go back to 1948, which was when India got its independence from the British colonial masters.
Okay.
Something happened in India. The people of the present day Pakistan said that they are not willing to be in the same country with the Hindus who are in majority. That they will prefer a situation India be divided into two, carving out Pakistan from India. Because they themselves, the people of present-day Pakistan, majority of them are Muslims.
Wow.
And that was in 1948. Yeah. And here we have a father, a forebearer, who say one in the list of the first educated Igbo men, very educated, who studied in the US. Even we believe he taught briefly in a university or in a higher institution in the US before coming down here in the 40s. Now, in this country, Nigeria got its independence in 1960. So if you remove how many years from 1948 to 1960, that's how many years? 14 years, okay. Now, the people of Pakistan saw what lay before them. But this is our great father. Did he see anything? He was so blind. But why do we say he's blind? I don't know. It's difficult to say whether he was blind or whatever he did it deliberately. Yeah. Our people, the Igbo people, they loved this man.
Yeah.
Many were ready to lay down their life for him.
Exactly.
And I will tell you, he took everything and gave them virtually very little in return. Very, very little in return. That was the last census they have before 1960, before independence. From what Mr. Robert Smith, a British colonial officer who participated, who played an active role in the census, told us that the census was rigged.
So more like they lied about the numbers.
Yeah, the number of the North was so much bloated. Contrary to the real number that they have. And besides, we have a North that is, I don't know, I wouldn't say double, possibly 3 times bigger or 4 times bigger than, or even 5 times bigger than the entire South. Now, they have the land mass. They didn't have the population. But the British chose to inflate their figures to establish a situation where the North will perpetually rule this country. And which is still happening. And which is the situation right now. Now, the question is, this brother or father, Azikiwe, is it that he didn't see the place of the Igbo man? When will an Igbo man rule a country they call Nigeria? When will that happen? If democracy is government of the people, or do I say by the people and for the people, and again, the government of the majority, When would the Igbo man squeeze out the population to be able to govern the country that is called Nigeria? Recently, well, in recent memory, a head of state in this country called the Igbo or the Igbo area a dot in the circle. A dot in a circle.
As a result of what was the mistake you made.
Okay, part of what happened. Okay.
So you're trying to say that Nnamdi Kanu,
Nnamdi
the problem. He should have seen what happened in Pakistan and did dissented, but he chose to neglect even when he had the willpower to stand in and divide the country when he had to.
Or even said something similar to what the people of Pakistan said.
Exactly.
If the British have given these people the land area and also given them the population, it's established that they will use what they've been given to dominate us forever. That is the implication. And then, I remember when, let me even going far back to history, or to the Bible even.
Okay.
When Solomon finished ruling, when he died, and his son, Rehoboam, came to power, and the people pleaded and said, please, can you lessen the hardship what we suffered under your father so that we can roll with you? The young man sought advice from his peers, and they told him, tell them, if my father scourged you with a cane, I'm going to scourge you with the koboko or with scorpion. And the Israelites said, to your thanks, O Israel, what portion do we have in the house of Jesse, which is the father of the to your thanks, O Israel. What do we have? What portion do we have in the house of Jesse? Jesse is the father of David that gave birth to Solomon.
Exactly.
You understand? The people they made that decision. One would have thought that what happened in Pakistan, which incidentally was also part of a British colony, it's a British that colonized Nigeria, that this man would have seen the reason, would have seen why you have an excuse, you have something you can point to. That you did in Pakistan, do it
for us here,
for us in this place. Now come to think about it. If you begin to think, not talk of the people that are dying presently in this present country called Nigeria. Go back to the Civil War. Go back to as far since the history of this country, since amalgamation, the number of the Igbo people that have laid down their lives for this particular country. Even when you minus the Civil War, there's a riot when there's a riot in Jos. There are these Igbo people that are killed there, apart from the owners of the land. Their businesses are destroyed. It has continued. It has continued. Even when they went to beg the Northerners to say, please, let's have independence, it's good for us. And they said they are not yet ready for independence. What happened? They still killed some of the people that went to beg them that Nigeria will become independent.
Wow.
So it means like the numbers we have in the head today were just fake numbers. Rather, we believe that the Northerners are more in number than the Southerners or the Igbo people. So it's more of just a word that was said, but not the actual amount of what we are counting today.
Wow. For quite some time, there has really never been a factual census conducted in this country. It's still that old one, they'll be using it, multiplying, adding and subtracting, and saying, okay, if these people, their population was 5 million
by
in
now,
1950, 1950 plus or minus, it will now be. They've been just doing that. We've never had a proper census in this country. We never had. So that is the situation.
Okay, so sir, if we talk about Igbo marginalization, some people say, okay, it's real, it's just there. While some others feel Igbos are exaggerating you people are making this thing look like, you people are making this thing look as if they are cheating you people, or they are, do you think we are exaggerating, or this thing is as real as it is?
The Igbo marginalization is as real as the daylight. I find it difficult to explain, but the point is that the marginalization has dimensions.
Okay.
The Igbo man in this country has been treated as if he is not worth anything. He's less than an animal, less than a wild animal. You know, the animals are of different types. You know, you have the domestic animal that people even carry on their body. They even give them good food to eat.
Yeah.
The Igbo man, to a very great extent, is treated more like a wild animal in the bush. Nobody gives a damn about the way the Igbo people are treated. Nobody cares. Where do I go? Where do we even start talking about marginalization of the Igbo man? You see? Okay. Like, for instance, the issue of establishment of seaports. I was a student at University of Calabar. There was a time there was a seaport at Calabar. There was a time the Port Harcourt seaport was working. There was also a time that they have this other one, I think in Warri. And then I think they're in a port. So I think Port Harcourt, they have One, they have, is it 2 or 1 or whatever they have in that particular area. Now, and do you also know that southeast, or this region, or old eastern region, is any ship that is coming from outside Nigeria, first of all, passes southeast before it gets to Lagos. And so if a ship is coming from London, it gets to southeast first before it gets to Lagos. The Atlantic Ocean, the ocean there, that it flows from here. Even the biggest part of that ocean is in this area, not even in Lagos.
So they intentionally skip
the idea,
and send to Lagos,
purposely to make Lagos a super state, or a super, how do I put it, one of the biggest mega city, the idea of a mega city. There was a time the Port Harcourt port was working, and when our people that were doing shipping and forwarding agency business, many of them came down to Port Harcourt. They were working, they were happy. Suddenly, they now stopped. The Calabar port closed, the Port Harcourt port closed, and then they said, everybody now go to Lagos. Lagos is oversaturated. Recently, the president went to London, to UK, and we had negotiated that there was this plan. It was whether somebody, the British or so, the government wanted to invest in Nigeria seaport or whatever, and a huge sum of money was raised, and that was meant to be used for the Apapa and the Tinkan port, and possibly the other port that is in the Lekki area. Now, the Port Harcourt port was not mentioned, the Calabar port was not mentioned, the Warri port was not mentioned. Meanwhile, these are the area that services the people. Now, talking of marginalization, the greatest number of people that import goods from outside Nigeria are the Igbo people. Now, if you now have to import, it gets to Lagos. For you to bring a container from Lagos to this place, it takes more than ₦1 million.
Wow.
Not just that, just the cost of transportation. Because we live in a country that, one, the railway system is not working, and the waterways are also not working. So it has to be through the road. And any time there's an increase in petroleum prices, the price of haulage increases. And some of those brothers that do this importation, some of the time they sell at a loss just to recoup their money. Sometimes they make little or no profit. And they also, if they choose to increase the prices of goods, people will say, the prices are so exorbitant. The Igbo people, these Igbo people, they are selfish, they are this, they are that. But they don't even consider what happens. Sometime, that was a couple of months ago, I was listening, somebody wrote an article on the number of hours or days or weeks or months it takes people to clear goods elsewhere, outside Nigeria. But sometimes it will take a month or 3 months for you to clear your goods there with a demurrage. You understand? And you know, business is all about making turnover. And so when your goods remain there for 1 month or 3 months and they are not cleared, you are losing. How much is your, what are you getting? I'm talking about this issue of but just one
example.
Now, talking about the railway system, under the Buhari administration, our brother, I don't even know whether to call him a brother or Amechi, the one they call Rotimi Amechi.
Yeah.
He was in charge of transport, the minister for transport. They even have to do a railway line that enters Nigeria Republic. The money that's also being used in doing all this is the money that comes from Igbo land. Why do I say Igbo land? I say Igbo land because although these people, they call themselves, they say Niger Delta. Now, who are the Niger Delta people?
Good question.
A great number of those people, the majority of those people in that area are Igbos, are all Igbos.
Sure.
Port Harcourt was named after a European, but the original name is Igbocha. Till today, Port Harcourt is being ruled by the Obi of Port Harcourt. He's an Igbo man.
Wow.
So, talk of that area, the whole resources in that area. So, we are like the goose that lays the golden eggs. That doesn't benefit from it in any way. That's what the Igbo man is.
You mentioned the Igbos being in other sides of the people that say they are the Niger Delta. So we want to talk about Igbos having fewer states. Does it affect power? Does it affect the resources that come? Because if you go to Delta states, there are Igbos there. You go to Port Harcourt, Igbos there. You go to Bayelsa, some places in Bayelsa, there are Igbo people there. You go to Calabar, there are still Igbo people there if you go to Calabar. So, but when you ask them now, Southeast, they will just give you 5 and say it's only 5 Southeast. So, do you think it's intentional? They reduce the states, so they reduce power, they reduce resources that come.
It is intentional. It's deliberate. In 1983, when Simon Ekpa was the governor of Imo State, Obi Igbo was part of Imo State.
Oh, really?
Obi Igbo,
yes, Obi Igbo, yes.
He used to be part of Imo State.
Oh.
Now, under what they call the Mama Nasa boundary adjustment, they started carving rich, oil-rich, mineral-rich areas into some of the areas, into some states where they will now tell them you are not Igbo. Say you are not Igbo. You understand? And they continue to do that. Immediately they moved Obi Igbo out of Rivers, out of Imo State.
Yes.
What happened? They changed the name to Oyi Igbo.
Oh,
not
Obi Igbo.
Not Obi Igbo anymore. Mbakwe had to cry. Mbakwe said something. What the meaning of Obi Igbo is the heart of Igbo land. How can you now take it away? Take the heart of Igbo people, the heart of Igbo land. You move it. Obi Igbo is a heart. Obi is a heart.
Yes.
How can you take it away? But then nobody listened because we have nobody to cry for us. As a defeated people, what can we do? It didn't end there. Do you know today, the Igbo people that live in Benue and in Kogi State, those people live in their ancestral land. They are not migrants. The Benue people will say they are migrants. They want to treat, they deny them their, but originally they were carved out through this process, through that boundary adjustment. Yes. They were carved out from old Anambra State. Yeah, and when Benue was divided into two to carve out Kogi State, some of them fell under Kogi. That is why today you have Igbos in Kogi.
Yes,
you have
yes.
in Benue.
Yes.
The funny thing is, it's really not funny. It's a wicked thing.
It is.
That the least developed part of Benue State is within that area that the Igbo people, those ancestral Igbo lands that in Benue State, that's the least developed. The government of the Benue will not develop it. They see them as nobody. So they were just carved out into that place to be made mess of, to be treated as subhumans. It's annoying. Why is it annoying? It's annoying because they keep trying to make these people disown their Igbo identity. Yeah. We are not the only people that fought the war. People have been fighting war. Yeah. So even when you talk of marginalization, looking at even the war we fought, the Civil War, so much happened. Do you know the war is so bad? It's a very bad thing because people die. So many people die. But there's two sides to a coin. The Igbo people were able to fight that war for 30 months. Upon the embargo and everything, they didn't import even a gallon of, a liter of petroleum or kerosene or even aviation oil. It was drilled. We drilled our oil here. We got our kerosene. We got everything, including aviation oil here for 3 good months, or 3 good days, just 3 years, 3 years, without importing even a gallon. So, the marginalization, what the country would have gained even from the war, by asking these people, you people, how did you sustain yourself for these 3 years? Those people that did it, some of them are still alive. Yes. Those that were able to drill oil, you refine it within Nigeria. Today, Nigeria cannot refine, even when they are not fighting a civil war. Nigeria cannot refine. You're talking of importing oil. They import from Senegal, import from Niger Republic. And things, is it not stranger than fiction? When there are people who have this knowledge, who can say, because we're still part of Nigeria, as a matter of fact, when you can still get those people to now help you. Yeah.
But show us how you did it.
Teach us. Maybe those people will be paid if they do that job or if they teach them. So rather the country will rather suffer than depend on the Igbo man to make the supply. To supply them or to teach them what they need to know. But many countries that pass through that stage moved to a higher level. Talk of South Korea. You know what the level where they are now?
Like, some people say they are in 2050.
So I would say this war has affected people's up to the
Yeah. The war, we are still suffering from the effects, the aftermath of the war. Part of the residual effects of that war on the Igbo personality or even the Igbo geographical area is what we are talking about. Now, a large area of the present Cross River State, they are Igbos. Yeah. There's even a deputy governor there whose name was Ofobunche. Ofobuche. So they try to pronounce it to Ofobojo. So he will not be Igbo.
Oh,
He was even a friend of mine. His name is Dennis Kanu. He said he's not Igbo. There's a student of mine here. He is even a police officer. So Peter Eke. I taught him here. He's from that area. He said he's Eke, but he's not
Igbo.
I think for now, the only person in that area that still associates with the Igbo is Kanu Agabi. Kanu Agabi, you hear of Kanu? Yeah. He was former Attorney General or something under Obasanjo, under Obasanjo regime. I think he should be the only person. Otherwise, the rest of the people, the Igbo people, okay, there are these other people called the Izobo people. They say they came from Ebonyi, but the Izobo people, they are still not cross river. They still say they are Igbos.
They are Igbos.
So in Akwa Ibom, you have the Ikoreshi people. Those areas. That name, Lieli Moke, they are Igbos. Those people, their area. The father was a minister in the First Republic, and he became a governor too after, in the Second Republic. I think in the Second Republic. There are people. Those people, that area, they are Igbos. A large number of them. The people of Ikoreshi in Akwa Ibom, they are Igbo. But then none of them now say they are Igbo anymore. None of them now say they are Igbo. These are part of the effect of that war that we fought. It's funny. So,
sir, our religious leaders, are they helping in this matter? They are benefiting from the marginalization, so they don't care. They don't even want to tell their brothers the truth, because a lot of people are influenced by religion. So they want to hear from religious leaders. Tell us, how did this happen? Because we have this boundary between Port Harcourt and Imo State. I've forgotten the name, but it bears the same name. Before there's Elele Port Harcourt, and there's another one in Imo State. These people that do oil in Imo State, they drew oil. So we have them in Port Harcourt. We also have them in Imo State, but they are just supposed to be here. No, it's very close here. Very. When I remember the name, I'll call it. They be the same. So we have it in Imo State, and we also have it in Port Harcourt. What they did, they divided the boundary. So we have them in Imo State, and we still have them in Port Harcourt. Thank you. There is Ebema in River State. There is Ebema in Imo State. So why are you divided? Just put them together. So somebody from Ebema in Imo State is saying I'm from Ebema. I'm from Imo State. Somebody from Ebema in River State is saying I'm from River State. Why? So what are our religious leaders doing? Do you think they are contributing, or they are even helping to?
I think I have to say something on this Ebema thing before I come to this, because that Ebema case, Ebema thing, is even ongoing right now.
Yes, or Haji Ebema.
That's the boundary adjustment that I spoke about earlier. They actually wanted to carve the entire Ebema into River State.
Oh,
that was the idea.
Wow.
But there is Igbo man, there is this man, S.A.N. Oso, Nzobi of Ebema. He was wealthy. And just like what Mbako said, talking about the heart of Igbo land, he said, no, he can be party to an arrangement whereby the Ebema be carved into River State. The war has also ended before this thing happened. Remember the abandoned property issue. Remember the story of people like Dr. Eleshi Amadi, who started, who said he was having problem with the Arab people, and because he had problem with the Arab, that their own people, they are no longer Igbo people. They migrated from Benin, and he started talking a lot of Bangladesh. You know, so Zombie SN also said no, that will not happen. So they now carved part of the Ebema kingdom into River State. The people that agreed to go to River State, they moved them. So they now say answering Ebema Angela Bay. Those in River State are Ebema Angela Bay. Down here. But you know what? So, but the thing that is about that area is these people, they have an idea that the Ebema is rich in mineral resources. So that is even the major reason why they want to tap them into rivers. And then, there already you have people like Yeson Wike that will say it's not Igbo. They try to stretch things they do. So when anything that belongs to the core Igbo here, enters rivers, it now becomes a property for the nation. So it's easy for them to look at what has been happening. Who are the people that have been sponsoring the federal elections that have been going on? Is it not people from the River State? And those people, I don't understand them at all. I don't even understand how they are wired. They don't even remember their brothers. They don't even remember where they moved from, where they moved to that. The Retini I mentioned, the Ubima, I think his place is Ubima. Ubima is still currently in state now. Yes. That this boy that has served that's serving into life. That he is from Ubima. Their place is Ubima, and that is where the people of that Amechi area. That's where they migrated from. He says that's what they said. So the thing is that when they move, so what they are even doing, that was a couple of months, or was it last year or something? They came up with the idea. This place where they have gas in Imo State, what they say is the largest gas deposit in Africa. That is the area one Yoruba man suggested, whether he's a member of the House of or National Assembly, or suggested that area they carved into South. Just so that people like Asadi Dokubo and other people, these other people will continue to say, the Igbo man wants our oil. The Igbo man wants our oil. You understand? The one that the Igbo man owns, they still want to take it. Good too. I did something on energy. My PhD thesis is petroleum exploitation and socio-economic changes in the oil-producing communities of Nigeria. And it's the first of its kind, I must tell you. The only person that has written on petroleum, to the best of my knowledge, before mine was I forgot his name, Peter or something. He was at Uniport. But he wrote on the Oba Ebema area, not only he wrote on the local government, but on the local government. Just that was he wrote. One Peter, I've forgotten his full name. Now, I was at the Owaza, oil field. The boundary between Abia State and the River State, when you get there, it's not up to a gutter. That's not less than a gutter. That is it. Yes. So all they needed to do is to carve out all the oil-bearing land in Igbo land, in core Igbo land, and move it to River State, so that those people will start insulting us as those that do not have oil.
Okay, sir. Sorry, you wanted to end with the religious part of it. Okay. So we can round up with that.
Fine. The
religious leaders.
The role of religious leaders. I don't know where your question is coming from. Is it the religious leaders in the whole of Nigeria or the religious leaders in the Southeast? Fine. May his soul rest in peace. Umobai, who happened to be one of the most renowned religious leaders in the world, not just in Africa, in the world. He's of Igbo extraction. He died recently. I think he was buried recently. What I read from the Bible, the people, God gives a people. What is it? A prophet. You are placed there for your people. But it's not happening in Igbo land. Till he died, I didn't see him speak out against the things that the Igbo people are suffering from, are passing through. I never. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know if you know, you can tell me.
Even today, none of the religious leaders here are speaking against.
We have also another wonderful, powerful man of God, which many of you may not know, Madoba, Moshi Madoba. I think it's from Abia or rather. These are men that are sought after all over the world, I say. But I've never seen any of them speak out for the Igbo man. I will say this thing is happening, but we still have some religious leaders. There's one doctor or Reverend Onoha. I don't know where he is based. There's other Mbaka of late, or recently anyway. But at that time he was hobnobbing with the Buhari and saying all manners of things in those days. But of late he's now speaking out. He's now seeing what is being done to the Igbo man. There are some other younger and I would say minor men of God. The one the one that is in charge of watchman, is also an Igbo man. I think he's from Oli. I've never hear him say anything.
I would like to talk about it because what's the aspect now. If we have to, if the animal man has to have the independence, the policeman has had a job to play, but we have to stand on somebody, we have to stand on the assignments.
Wow. It's really difficult to touch on that question in the sense that some of them are trying. Some are not trying. Some are actually dancing to the gallery. All they are doing is to please their paymasters so that they can continue in power. Some of them, to a great extent, I would say, have actually urinated on the graves of their forefathers, of their brothers. Some are also trying, maybe in ways that some of us do not even know. Do you understand? Because there's a way they can move and then their paymasters or those in charge. Now, given the fact that it is established that the Igbo man is now not even the third class in this country, but possibly from fourth to the fifth or to sixth. That's where they've actually they've managed to place us. And so somehow you rather not even play than playing at all, because if you must have to play, you must play according to the rules of the game, not set by you. Or not set by your people, but set by those who want to perpetually lord it over you.
We'll say that Igbo men have no place in the aspect of this. But when they talk about that, we do say that we don't be the Messiah that will save the Igbo. And then the aspiring person who can possibly win the presidency of Nigeria. As I'm talking about the Igbo president.
Since there is a possibility for him to be president,
do you think we can actually salvage the situation?
I'm very reluctant to talk about that. I'm not looking up to such a miracle. If you go back in history, you see that even part of the marginalization, part of the suffering that our people are even going through, it was caused by some Igbo people. Agi Ironsi wasn't he an Igbo man? He was. Do you know that this oil that is funding all the development projects in the entire country today That it was Emma Okara who went to US, who went to Europe to bring the oil companies. Talk of Texaco, Mobil, BP, Shell BP, all this. It was Emma Okara that brought them to Nigeria. It was Emma Okara, the then premier of Eastern Region, that gave them oil mining lease. It was Emma Okara because the oil was a resource that belongs to Eastern Region and not to Nigeria. Because in the First Republic, the resources belong to the region. It was Ironsi that abrogated through the unification decree that he passed, which the same people he tried to favor, used to kill him, destroy him. It was the unification decree that now said the regions no longer own their resources. It was Ironsi that passed it. So the Igbo man is hated to the extent that no matter, even if he comes out to bootlick or to do an impossible thing to favor the other non-Igbos, he will still be hated. Why did they kill Ironsi?
All right, sir. Thank you so very much. It's been an amazing time with you here in the studios. I think today's episode is really loud. This is where we will hold as a Loud Mind podcast. This is indeed very loud and special, and we are grateful to have your knowledge in the room, and we appreciate you. Hopefully, we will still call on you if we have other episodes that we will need you. Hope you will be available, sir.
You have just heard it. That is the situation of an Igbo man in the Zoological Republic. In case you do not know, what we are seeing today will never stop. Just as the man said, if you are expecting any miracle from Peter Obi, you are the most idiotic person. If you are expecting that any Igbo presidency will give you anything, you'll be the most idiotic person. I have said it that any time an Igbo man make a move to redeem Nigeria, the next thing that will follow will be disaster, death. Disaster, death. So if you are sensible, if you are following history, you will not even pray for any Igbo man to make any move of rescue Nigeria. Because any move of an Igbo man to rescue Nigeria brings death. It brings death. So there is no, any reasonable Igbo man will never talk of rescuing Nigeria. It is not because it is not nice to do, but the cost of it to your people will be disastrous, that you can't even survive it. Every attempt to save Nigeria has brought death to us, and still yet some idiots are coming out to save Nigeria. A country that is gone and gone for good. A country that is meant for destruction. A country whose only purpose it is to destroy their people. Even when outsiders come to help them, they turn the devil against them. Nigeria is a demonic entity that anything that's trying to make it work will become an enemy. Look at the Christian genocide they are talking about. Talking about Christian genocide. Stop the killing of people. They say, oh, it's not Christian genocide, they're killing Muslims. Okay, stop the genocide of the citizens. You can't stop it. You are making excuses with Christian genocide. Okay, call it, okay, genocide against the indigenous people. You can't stop it. Let's share some other videos for you to see the update of the continued genocide in the Zoological Republic that will never stop, regardless what you think or what you do. You can continue to pretend about it, but we have a confirmation to show that the zoo will never, ever survive.
And when they go and kill and they attack villagers, what are they chanting? They're not saying, praise the Fulani, yes the Fulani. They're saying, Allahu Akbar. They slaughter people, they cut people in half, Allahu Akbar. So they think that what they're doing, they are praising their Allah. Yeah. And so you can't say that there's no religion in part of this when they carry out these terroristic acts. They're in the name of Allah, they're praising Allah. And so it's a mixture of that, but it's rooted in religion and establishing Islam on a greater level. The truth is that across the middle belt of the country, where Christians primarily habitate and are being killed and targeted directly, the Fulani are the ones who are doing that. Nobody's talking about them. Mainstream news is not talking about them. The U.S. government is not targeting them. There was no bomb dropped on the Fulani. The Nigerian government is not targeting the Fulani. They're kind of switching the narrative and trying to focus, okay, yeah, we'll cooperate with terrorism in the Northeast and the Northwest, targeting Boko Haram and ISIS West Africa. Nobody's talking about the Fulani. But it's the Fulani who are killing the Christians. Legit true Muslim is to also believe and follow and to desire to establish Sharia. But there is also the ethnic part of it to where the Fulani do want to take over. So they are taking over lands, they are killing Christians. And so it's intertwined with both religion or the truth. And I want to give you a very clear example of what I'm trying to get to that just happened over the past couple of days. Benue State, where I work, you know Yawada, they killed almost 300 Christians with buildings on, obviously. Recently, a Fulani leader was killed. He was ambushed and killed. Within 24 hours, they arrested at least 10 people. Within another few days, they arrested another 7 or 8. So in a matter of days, they arrested 18 people that were supposedly involved with the killing of one Fulani leader. Just recently, they went and killed 10 Christians in that exact area. 1 or 2 days later, they went, took another attack, killing more Christians. Has anybody been arrested? No. Have any of the perpetrators been brought to justice? No. What about every single attack that is happening across Plateau states, Benue states, Taraba, Kaduna, the middle belt region of Nigeria? Are they arresting and apprehending the ones who are carrying out the attacks? The answer is no. It is very seldom that you actually see people brought to justice when they're murdering Christians.
That is the zoological republic we are talking about. This is what is happening in the zoo. A country that is gone and gone for good. A country where the government is even paying terrorists. The Fulani kidnap, government will pay them ransom, give them more money to buy equipment, and they will come and tell you they rescued. They will come and tell you they rescued people. Each time they claim the rescue, you go and watch the news and see. You will end up finding out that there is no rescue. All they did was exchange. All they did was exchange. And more revelations is coming. When they come and tell you they rescued or your students or your school children, not knowing that there was no rescue, it was just an exchange they did, as always. An evil entity.
Now to the book of the matter, to the story of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Like, is it true that they said, he said, she said, and somebody are like you? Is it true what we are hearing? Because, hey, can you imagine? An independent news agency in France, AFP, you guys know them, you cannot buy them. They reported that Nigerian President, Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu secretly paid billions of naira to Boko Haram terrorists. They said he paid this money to secure the release of the nearly 230 kidnapped school children and teachers in Niger State. You guys remember that time that they kidnapped about 200, and actually it was about 300 of them. Some of them escaped. And so now we are hearing from AFP that the president allegedly paid billions of naira for the release of these school children and the teachers, which is in direct violation of Nigeria's anti-ransom laws. She understand? So you get it. Nigeria has a law that will not pay ransom anymore to terrorists because that is how terrorists are empowered. So what this thing is telling us now, if it is true, because now it is between Alhaji and AFP. What this thing is telling us now is that those students and the teachers were never actually rescued. Because if you rescue somebody, you go in there, you shoot, you kill the kidnappers, and then you rescue them. That is what we call rescue. What we are hearing now is that the young government did empowerment of the terrorists, giving them billions of naira. Intelligence sources cited by AFP, disclosed that the Nigerian government paid a huge ransom with figures ranging between 2 billion to as high as 10 billion. So they already paid between 2 and 10 billion naira to secure these children's freedom. Absolutely, we want the children to be free, we want the teachers to be free, absolutely. But then they told us that they were rescued. This is not what the Nigerian government said, especially because the Nigerian government has a law against paying terrorists. Then one source actually claimed that the government paid approximately 40 million naira per hostage, estimating the total to be around $7 million. These funds were allegedly transported by helicopter into Boko Haram's enclave in Goza, Borno State, near the Cameroonian border. That in itself tells us that the Nigerian government knows the address of Boko Haram. They know where to find them. They know where they are living. You understand? They know their enclave. They know how to enter their apartment. This money was said to have been handed over to a terrorist named Ali Ngulde, a senior Boko Haram commander. The investigation also fingered a feared Boko Haram figure who is known as Sadiku. They said he's the mastermind. This man called Sadiku is already famous for allegedly hijacking a passenger train from Abuja in 2022 and extracting hefty ransom from the passengers. And beyond operating from Bolu, the man also allegedly operates a terror cell in Niger State. I'm telling you, Nigerian government, they don't just know their address, they know their offices, like all the branches that they have. 2 Boko Haram commanders were also allegedly freed as part of the negotiation. It wasn't just the money that was paid, it wasn't just the billions that was paid. The Nigerian government also allegedly freed 2 Boko Haram commanders. And they are telling us that they declared war against terror. So this just makes it obvious that the Nigerian government is the one funding terrorism in Nigeria. Do you know that the government has denied it? But then 4 intelligence sources familiar with the negotiations, they contradicted the official position of the Nigerian government. They told AFP that the payments were definitely made after intense back-channel talks led by the National Security Advisor, Nuri Badu. Hey, Uncle Nuri Badu, you knew about this? What's that? These negotiations reportedly lasted for 2 weeks before the captives were freed. So for 2 weeks after these kids were kidnapped, the Nigerian government was negotiating with the kidnappers. How much do you want? Okay, this is how much you can afford. Okay, we'll send it by helicopter. Give us your address one more time. Okay, and Nuhu Ribadi will be the one to negotiate. For 2 weeks, guys, there was no rescue mission. For 2 weeks. Once again, we are happy that those kids are freed, teachers are freed. But what is this? We are empowering terrorists, even if to ensure that none of these kids will be killed, even if they will give them the money for them to be freed. What happened after giving them the money and after they freed the kids? Can't they go back to go and finish the terrorists? Are you telling me that the Nigerian army is not capable of a successful rescue mission? I mean, we just sent Nigerian troops to Benin Republic last year, December, didn't we? When they tried to overthrow their president. They were trying to overthrow their president, their corrupt president. And Nigeria sent soldiers. We sent troops to them like quickly. We cannot send troops to rescue our own children. I don't understand what is that. This is sad. I interviewed Reverend Ladi Thompson, who said that Nigerian president is in the know about the terrorism that is going on in Nigeria, that he pays them. That video went viral, a lot of people watched it. But there were people who also said, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Okay, now this is AFP telling us that Nigerian president paid about 10 billion to Boko Haram terrorists. What do you think these people will do with the 10 billion? They'll buy more weapons. They'll terrorize more people. They'll kidnap more people. And if this happened with just one operation, if they could get billions out of one operation, do you know how many operations they've had? Like, do you know how many times they've kidnapped a lot of people that the Nigerian government is trying to save face. Not that they actually cared about these people, but whenever they kidnap a lot of people at a time, the government is trying to save face. So that means they've been paying them each time and telling us that they are rescuing this, which makes me wonder how many billions have been paid to these terrorists. I think besides just telling us that AFP is lying, the president needs to address this. This is a huge scandal. And Uncle Nuribadi also needs to speak out because now he's being quoted as the negotiator for terrorists. This is wrong. I'm just...
That is the Zoological Republic. We will continue to expose them to confirm the decay of the zoo. A country that is doomed. A country that is meant for destruction. And somehow, people are believing that miracle is going to happen to change situation. There's nothing that will change. Instead, it will continue to be worse every day. And we play these videos for the world to confirm everything we are saying. When we say they are paying ransom, they are paying ransom. People who were kidnapped confess to it.
Captured in school, and as well I was the last person that was to leave in that bush because the anchor that was on the boat teacher, the teacher is not ordinary text, even my VP. It's my VP, so I'm the school counselor. So when the anchor was, there was particularly they wanted to lose the anchor when we want to leave. So the anchor will now break. When he did break, that man's hand was loose, so the anchor was me. So there was no need to use the anchor from my hand. That was the way I was standing the anchor. So when he hit us, everybody had gone. So he now said, I cannot carry this anchor home. That they will look for a way to lose the anchor. So one of the gentlemen, they should cut off my hand. So the other guy, no, they should not cut off my hand. That they should not worry that they will look for a way to anchor. So he now went to look for just small tiny rope. But the tiny rope he used to lose the anchor. So that was how I was also released. So my people had gone far. I don't know how to hear the route they took. I was just hearing their sound. So I was just running towards the direction. Their commander called me again. He pointed gun at me. He said, come. When he pointed gun at me, he said, come. I was afraid that. What do you mean this bush? This is how I'm going to die. That's it. Told him to come back. The ISWAP commander, the terrorist commander. The one inside the bush, their commander inside the bush. I can say maybe their chief commander. Let me see that with their chief commander. He called me that I should come. That where am I going? I said, I don't know where I told you the route my path. Now told me to come. So when I got to him, he told me that I should take this route. That it was the route to be so I was. And I was run to the direction he told me. So he followed me. So as I was running, I was looking at the back so that he won't shoot. So we trekked from that place, like let me say, like 40 to 1 hour to here, provided society and military for Canada that took us from that bush near the nearest village. Okay, so when it was for like let me say 1 hour 30 minutes to that village, we now stopped. They said they can't go for that again. So that was where they stopped and they told us to move with our leg. So we moved for 1 hour 30 minutes with our leg, both the principal, the VP, the staff, students, and the purpose. So we checked for 1 hour 30 minutes before we get to where those things that the government had to come and rescue us with.
You have heard it. You see how the people came out. This guy now is one of those who were kidnapped among the Oyo school children. With the story he's telling to, does he look like somebody who was rescued? The people that kidnapped him literally left them. He said they told them to go, and they go. And even others even left before him. They were even able to remove the handcuff in his hand and allow him to go. And he left. There was no exchange of fire anywhere. There was nothing. But they came and told you a story that there was exchange of fire, they lost 2 policemen, they lost this one, last one, they shot 2 people and 3 people. Bunch of liars. Lies. After they lie, they use their media to cover their lies. This is the country you want to be part of. Nigeria is doomed. Is doomed and prepared for destruction. And nothing will change it. Nothing will change it. No matter what they do, no matter their lies, it's going to end. And we will continue to expose them. Thank God that the United States is not stepping back. They take it to another level.
I rise in strong support for my amendment to increase the withholding threshold for assistance to Nigeria from 50% to 100%, while keeping in place benchmarks that demand Nigeria take effective steps to address the violence and persecution that continue to devastate the country. Nigeria has faced a horrific wave of violence that its corrupt government has failed to address. For years, and especially in recent months, Christians and other religious minorities in Nigeria have been subjected to violence and terrorism at the hands of extremists operating with impunity. Christian women and girls continue to be abducted, assaulted, tortured, and killed. Their churches are burned, and entire communities are erased. If the aid conditions included in the bill are important enough to withhold half of all the funding to the Nigerian government, then they are important enough to withhold all of the funding. The generosity of our taxpayers is a reflection of the American values we hold so firmly. Never should we allow their hard-earned tax dollars to be funneled to corrupt regimes that fail to uphold religious freedom, fail to adequately confront terrorism, and fail to protect the innocent from persecution. So why are we rewarding a government that fails to meet such a basic obligation? This amendment is simple. It does not remove the aid conditions in the bill, but only strengthens such conditions. But most importantly, it upholds a principle that all recipients of American taxpayer assistance should follow, that they must prove they are willing and able to respond to violence before receiving any funding. Simply put, meet the standard before receiving support. That is the accountability the American taxpayer deserves. Foreign aid should never be a reward for failure. So as our national debt is fast approaching 40 trillion, why on earth are we still allowing ourselves to go further into debt by rewarding corrupt foreign governments that tolerate terrorism within their borders? When churches are burned, women and girls are abducted, and terrorists operate with near impunity, that is not merely an internal disturbance, it is a direct assault on the freedoms our nation claims to defend, which our foreign assistance must reflect and uphold. This is not about punishing the Nigerian people. It's about demanding accountability for their government's complacency and ensuring that our foreign aid is leveraged to defend, reflect, and uphold American values. Even the underlying bill recognizes the Nigerian government's failure to meet the standard, yet it still allows for half of the funding to be released anyways. My amendment withholds all funds until they meet basic standards. Accountability can never be divided, nor should we allow anyone to exploit the generosity of the American taxpayer. I urge my colleagues to uphold accountability in our foreign aid spending and to vote for my amendment. I reserve.
That is it. The United States is not relenting. The US have stepped it up. Seize all aids to Nigeria. Nigeria will no longer get any aids from the United States. And that is a very good news. That is a very good news, even though the poor masses are going to suffer. Even though the poor masses are going to suffer it. But it is a right step in the right direction. Because even the masses, the poor masses, they need to rise up and do the needful. If you don't do the needful, you will continue to suffer. Let's go to their media and continue to see their idiocy in their media, their madness that they display every day.
This morning, 2 separate panels of the Court of Appeal have delivered conflicting judgments on the powers of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, ahead of the 2027 general elections. One panel overturned the Federal High Court ruling that nullified parts of INEC's election guidelines, holding that the Commission acted within its constitutional powers in setting the timetable for party primaries and candidate nominations. However, another panel struck down sections of the Electoral Act governing party membership registers and candidate nomination procedures, ruling that they conflict with constitutional provisions guaranteeing political parties the right to manage their internal affairs. The contrasting decisions are expected to shape future legal debates on Nigeria's electoral framework.
Moving on, the United States House of Representatives has approved an amendment seeking to suspend all American assistance to Nigeria until the federal government takes effective steps to combat terrorism and violence and hold perpetrators accountable. The amendment, sponsored by Congressman Gregory Steele of Florida, raises the proposed age suspension from 50% to 100% pending certification by the U.S. Secretary of State. Steele argues that Nigeria has failed to adequately protect its citizens, particularly religious minorities, and said American taxpayers' money should not support governments that fail to confront terrorism. The measure must get past the remaining stages of the U.S. legislative process before it can become law.
The Federal High Court, Federal Capital Territory High Court, Abuja, has ordered the final forfeiture of assets worth nearly 9 billion naira linked to businesswoman Aisha Chimuku to the federal government. The assets include jewelry valued at 4.6 billion naira, 11 luxury vehicles worth 4.3 billion naira, $50,000 in cash and 30 billion naira. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission secured the order after arguing that the assets were proceeds for lawful activities. It is the second major forfeiture against Chimuku this year, following an earlier court order confiscating $13 million linked to her and the company over allegations of fraud and money laundering.
The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Kadosu, says Nigeria's net foreign reserves have surpassed $40 billion, up from about $3 billion when he assumed office in 2023. Speaking at the Business Day CEO Forum in Lagos, Kadosu said the country's gross external reserves have also risen to about $52 billion, providing roughly 10 months of import cover. He attributed the improvement to foreign exchange reforms, stronger investor confidence, and rising diaspora remittances, which the XCBN expects to reach $1 billion monthly by the end of the year. Kadusu also said the foreign exchange market is now sufficiently liquid, with minimal central bank intervention, while pledging continued oversight of banks following the 4.65 trillion naira recapitalization exercise.
All right. Okay. Well, good morning, and thank God it's Friday. A number of stories to get through very quickly today, and I'll try to touch on a few of them. The first one, with regards to the conflicting rulings from appeal courts. I believe we have a guest who's going to be coming on later on to really break down that for us. But I believe the importance of this is what we've often talked about, especially as we head and look forward towards elections 2027. What are the limits of INEC's powers, especially what should be deemed as internal party conflicts, or what should be seen as as INEC having the powers to determine timetable for elections based on the interpretation of the Electoral Act. And Nigerians are looking to the courts to interpret what this ought to mean, and it makes it even more confusing if the courts themselves appear to be confused based on conflicting judgment. And this is why we've called again and again for the NJC to perhaps look into the actions and rulings of courts, especially of coordinate jurisdictions who give a separate interpretation of the law, and this would further deepen the divide instead of providing clarity as the court is supposed to at least want to do in this regard. But the conversation has opened, and we'll continue to see what now happens to the timetable. Which of the courts should INEC obey or respect? Which of the judgments or the rulings should INEC act on or implement? And so the conversation these rulings have just opened up further conversation, and I do believe that the Supreme Court might now have to come in to determine with finality where Nigeria is headed in this regard. But I think a key issue here as well, of course, is that we need to look into our corporate
processes, the NJC, as a matter of urgency, in order to not further erode the trust of the people in the outcomes of the court, with all due respect, of course, to the justices. Now, let me go on to this move by the U.S. Congress, this bill sponsored by Rev. Steele from Florida, asking and proposing that 100% aid cut ought to be effected in Nigeria in order to encourage the government to do more in the area of protecting its citizens, especially of a particular faith, against persecution, discrimination, and just address security concerns in the country. This in itself is concerning, and this morning I'd like to ask if Rep. Steele is aware or has been kept abreast of updates here in Nigeria, because it almost seems as if we're having this conversation late last year when the President of America first made that infamous tweet around, put a show of fury, boots on ground, and coming hard on Nigeria. I say this because since that time, we have seen efforts. I must provide some form of context, and this is that this war against insecurity, or fight against terrorism, was not introduced under this administration. It was inherited. Now, has this administration handled it, effectively and competently? A lot of people have what to say about that. That there've been states of kidnapping. There's not shown enough political will to go after the financiers of these acts of terrorism. There are areas where the government in itself denies even anything of this sort happening and almost turning a blind eye. But since late last year, efforts have been made. We have looked at collaborations between Nigeria and the United States of America following a visit to the United States by the NSA, that's the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. Following this, the US came on ground and there was intelligence sharing, boots on ground, and we saw efforts, the Christmas Day bombing, the killing of some top ISIS-linked leaders that were present here in Nigeria, the carting away of equipment and substance for a further investigation by the United States of America. We've also seen appointment of the Director for Homeland Security. We have seen legislature in that regard, the Terrorism Prohibition and Prevention Act, which has now stipulated the death penalty expanded, and that even those who are accessory to terrorism would now be prosecuted. We have seen some high-profile prosecutions. We have seen some rescues of kidnapped victims. We talked about the Orire local government area. We looked at the the Kogi status that happened most recently. Now, has the government been able to tackle this completely? Absolutely not. And that is why every day on this table and in many other forums, there are conversations around what the government must do more to protect every single Nigerian. What the government must do more. There's a lot more accountability for the government to intensify efforts in the fight against terrorism and in the protection of Christians as well as other groups across Nigeria. This has not ended, this continues. But in the area of efforts, since end of last year, I must mention that there have been efforts done, maybe not up to the expectations of the Americans and even to Nigerians themselves. And this is why there's a continuous push and a continuous accountability check here to say that you must do more. Every Nigerian must feel safe. But has there been progress in that area? I think it is almost undoubtful in that regard. Now, I make this point to say that in the second half of it is that cutting aid to Nigeria, I don't see how this would help the most vulnerable people whom the U.S. Congress is, in part of its prayers, is looking to protect. Let me give you a snapshot for those who might be saying, yes, cut the aid. At the end of the day, it is the most vulnerable people who are direct beneficiaries of this aid that will suffer. In 2025, the United States provided over $515 million in health assistance alone. This went to HIV/AIDS, malaria, maternal and child health, tuberculosis, nutrition, global health security, polio eradication, immunization. These are the areas that have already been vastly affected, greatly affected by even the 50% cut in aid to Nigeria from the United States of America. Nigeria is currently the third beneficiary of U.S. aid in sub-Saharan Africa. And so we do need this aid. And yes, we say, okay, progressively in the future, let us see how Africa can be self-sustainable. But currently, the reality is that we are not. And if the U.S. continues in cutting aid, it will not affect the people whom they ought to be going after. And so we have seen loss of jobs, hundreds of jobs have been lost. And so you can imagine how we plunge even further people into poverty, and then the cycle continues, making it, difficult for them to live. Number two is that we have an election coming up. There's assistance in the area of democratic and human rights, area, humanitarian support. That will be cut as well. We look at the number of HIV and AIDS patients on the African continent and how Nigeria, the numbers are increasing. We do need the aid. What I would suggest, perhaps, is the Magnitsky Act. Go after the people who have been identified as being sponsors or sympathizers to terrorism, and cut, visa restrictions, assets forfeitures, asset seizings. Those are the people that they should go after. Other areas that they can do is also to evaluate how they can further collaborate with Nigeria. So, with regards to the aid cut, it is not good for the country. It is not a viable option to solve the problem, and the most vulnerable in Nigeria are the ones that would suffer the most. What I would ask for is a bit more time, and to see that Nigeria does make the concerted effort. I'll rest here. We're fine.
So for me, when we are begging Americans not to cut aid, I'm like, aren't we hypocritical? In one breath, when they now try to interfere in your matter, you say, oh, we are a sovereign nation. But at the same time, you are begging because you want their aid. Let's be in struggle. It's begging.
It is the reality on ground. No, we have benefited significantly from it until we get to a place of self-sustainability.
No, it's not a case of
except we don't want to.
You see, this is the hypocritical argument. America does not owe you anything. It's a sovereign nation, just like you are a sovereign nation. So let's stop this hypocrisy. If you choose out of this magnanimity to be able to gain influence over you, and it gives you aid, it's giving you out of its free will. It doesn't owe you anything. So in one breath, when we are quick to say, oh, America has no right to interfere in our matter, we are a sovereign nation, we make that argument too. But when it comes to aid, we can say we should not cut it. So what happens to our own leaders that are looting our own treasury here, and we are looking at them? We want to go and collect aid from people. The money we have here can fix our needs if our leaders stop looting. What happens to the criminals that are looting our own resources, that are buying big cars, buying new jets, and the like? What happens to them? Except we truly carry our own weight, we're not going to move anywhere. That's the truth of the matter, and that's the truth we don't want to hear in this country. And I'll keep speaking that truth to any Tom, Dick, and Philip. Except we learn to hold our leaders accountable and we start to carry our own weight, we're not going to move anywhere. The resource, the blessings God has given to this land should be enough to be able to fix it. But you have people over the years that have fleeced this nation, that their wealth is because, look at Achimogu's case. Look at wealth that is being repatriated. Look at Malami's case. Look at wealth that is being repatriated. 202 billion. If you change it at that former exchange rate, you said 500 and something million last year. Wouldn't we go a long way? Look at wealth that is being repatriated, and these are just small. What about the other ones that they are keeping their wealth today because they have the power today? If they leave the power today, they will collect the wealth too from there like that. We'll see it on TV. Is it going to be looting Nigeria? Let's call a spade and tell ourselves that if we truly want to be a sovereign nation, we should stand tall and stop depending on handouts and do it ourselves, bootstrap, fix our own problem, fix our own ineptitude, and make our country work. America can make its decision about its aid and everything. That's America. If we are truly standing for ourselves, no other nation should not be jittery as regards how other nations are dictating our fate. And in one breath, we are a sovereign nation. Two, we are talking about it. Let's call it spade. Let's be circumspect in this nation. As regards impute, yes, we can't deceive ourselves. Christian genocide has persisted. As the military tried, as the forces tried, they have made some strides. But are we where we want to be? No. Yesterday, we still reported a case here by equipping the saints, where a family of about 9 or 6 or 7 was killed. The military officers were there. They said they didn't have fuel to go and rescue them. When you hear things like that, you shudder. And do we truly have a nation here? Do we truly have a nation? So we need to carry our own weights. The case of Warren, yes, we've had lobbyist group, we've talked to them, we've had partnership, we've done many joint operations, we've achieved success, we've even collected data from here, we've had massive strikes, from the Christmas Day strike and everything. But are we still sleeping with our eyes closed? No, we are not there yet. And that's what we should work on. How can we solve this matter? At some point, Nigeria used to be like this. So how come it became like this and everybody was looking at it? And many years down the line, over how many years now, 15, 20 years, we can't seem to solve the problem. And this problem has to be solved by us internally. Why are we talking as if this country is not great? This was the same country that spent 60 billion cumulatively to liberate South Africa. Those ones are now pushing us and saying, go back to your country today. Over $60 billion. This was the same country that put over $15 billion now for ECOMOG to liberate West Africa. Why is it that we cannot do it for ourselves? We need to be able to find the will, the way, and the wherewithal to be able to solve this insecurity problem. When is it going to be enough? We are looking at it, that Mohammed Yusuf has been killed now. It's going to 20 years. In 2-3 years from now, it will be 20 years officially when we've been dealing with all of this insecurity. And we can't solve a problem for 20. A generation is fast going. No. We must have to look for it. I believe if there's a political will and courage and readiness to fight the complicity in the system, we as a nation can be able to do it. We were barely set up as a nation when we sent troops to Congo now. We know the peacekeeping work Nigeria did in Congo in the 60s. We were barely how many years as a nation? And we steadied the ship for them in Congo when the crisis erupted in Congo. Why is it that we are always doing other people's own? We can't do our own internally. This is the time to look inward. And this is the time to look strictly about the issues affecting us. So, America can do whatever they want to do. That's America. I'm more concerned about my own country. What my own country can get for itself.
There's a whole body of literature on the importance of aid from countries of the North. And the emergent level of thought in that literature is that African countries should not be dependent on aid. In 2019, Nabi Samuel, an economist, wrote a book titled Dead Aid, in which she was saying that, look, reliance on aid is counterproductive. There are others who have tried to write books, and that are available for people who are Google experts, on the interface between aid and development and suppliers of otherwise underdeveloped countries. So I begin the argument by saying, ordinarily, Nigeria should not be a country that depends on aid from Western countries. This country is so well resourced. The missing link is, as Gino Achebe had pointed out, that the problem with Nigeria is leadership. If Nigeria was a very serious country led by patriots, this country would not have to worry about aid. The second point is that the House of Representatives in the United States voted 217 to 209 to adopt the motion by Gregory Stewart to say that, in fact, it was even an amendment that America should not just withdraw 50% of aid. He said the situation in Nigeria is so serious, it should be increased to 100% withdrawal of aid to Nigeria because of what he calls Christian persecution. Now, his position is not different from that of Congressman Riley Moore. May the matter, before America takes a final decision, we still have to go to the Senate, where we expect that perhaps the voting, as has happened in the House of Representatives, will occur along bipartisan lines. However, the question we should ask in regard to this is first, what happened to the lobbyists that Nigeria engaged? Because we got some lobbyists to talk to the same congressmen in the United States. We spent money. So what happened to our money that is spent to explain the situation in Nigeria to those people? Then what is the effect of the several visits to the United States by national security advisor and other officials of state. Is this an implication that it has not made any impact? However, the subtext of it is to note that the Nigerian government, not even by its own say-so, but also by the admission of the American government, has done a lot in terms of the partnership between the US and Nigeria to address the challenge of terrorism, banditry, and insurgency. Was it not the other day that the Americans themselves told us that they were able to seize, equipment that they have not ever seen before from terrorists in Nigeria, and that they've been able to kill the 3 top officers of ISIS, SWAP, and whatever other terrorist group in Nigeria, and that they are helped to decimate the terrorist agents in Nigeria. So there are 2 sides to it, but I think that the Nigerian government, this is the time to again engage in the business of diplomacy, and it is important that the Nigerian government does so. So there is no final decision yet. This is just at the level of Congress. But we should not overlook the significance of the partnership between Nigeria and the United States on the issue of terrorism. Now, the Court of Appeal is said to have issued 2 conflicting judgments. The Court of Appeal of Nigeria is one court in the hierarchy. So it appears very surprising that the Court of Appeal will have 2, different panels contradicting themselves. I know in one case it was the Zenith Labour Party that went to court. In the other party, I think it was, in the other matter, it was the Youth Party. But, okay, 2 things. One, which of the rulings came first with regard to INEC's powers over the timetable and the management fixing of elections? Because one party was saying, the INEC violated the Constitution, specific sections, I think 67, and then also Section 84, sub 2. Another court is supposedly saying that, whatever the other court said has been nullified. So there's some gray area there that is a bit confusing. But I think at the end of the day, when the matter probably eventually goes to the Supreme Court, there will be clarity. But as for this appeal court beginning to behave like the Federal High Court, that looks a bit confusing. But we have Mutalabi Uduadebayo who will come and they will help us try to clarify this, whether one panel of Court of Appeal can contradict the other, and whether we are facing a problem with the judiciary. Now, the CBN governor, Cardoso, has been saying we have foreign reserve, that is about 40 billion. We have external reserve, that is about 52 billion. The question to ask is that under Cardoso, who has also won the title of Governor of the Year at the ceremony in London, what is his purpose? What I've always said on this program, compared to a father in the family, who says he has billions in the bank, and then the children are suffering. And then you keep posting every day, I'm saving money, I'm a responsible father, I have money. Meanwhile, you are not funding the budget. Meanwhile, agriculture is not being funded. Ajaputa still is lying prostrate. Many other aspects of the economy are suffering. Ministers are saying they are not getting money to be able to pursue their objectives under the Constitution. That's a contradiction. And I think that this current CBN governor needs to take a developmental approach. Nigeria cannot be saving money and people are hungry, institutions are suffering, money is not being provided to cash back the economy. You can celebrate Governor of the Year. But how is this central bank under Yemi Cardoso, how is it supporting the development process, the investment process in Nigeria? That's where I think the gap is. And it's a gray area that he needs to address. It's not enough to say we are keeping money. Keeping money for what purpose? He said 10 months of imports. Okay, if you import, so?
We have a public declaration of assets mandate, for public office holders in Nigeria. They declare before they get into office, and after they leave, you think that mandate is false? Because at the time Malami got into office, he declared properties worth, assets worth 41 billion. And now, after leaving office, he's been sent to 15 properties, over 48 properties worth billions of naira. So that means if this is really working, and should that be stopped or should it be an ongoing thing? Because these assets are not even made public at the end of the day.
Yeah, you know.
Welcome everyone. It is hashtag on VOPTV. My name is Vivian, and it's such a pleasure to have you join us. This is where we're going to tell you all things trending and all things topical, especially on X. Now, if this is your first time here, accept a very warm welcome from us. Us, because supporting, working together to ensure that this is a flawless production. That said, we begin with the very, very first hashtag. It is hashtag Christian genocide. This is on the front banner again. We thought, this issue had been dusted and buried, but no. Some days ago, around the 15th of this month, Pastor Ezekiel Dachimo, based in Plateau State, one of the foremost voices has been crying, asking government as well as the US to help in the Middle Belt, the North Central, to come help and end this thing called Christian genocide. Now, the US stepped in once upon a time and said if the Tinubu government does not end it, he was going to take over. And then there was a flurry of activities from the federal government. Delegation after delegation, President Tinubu sent people to the US, calm the nerves of the US president and the US Congress that no, this is hydra-headed. It's not about just Christians. Muslims have been killed as well. And so it looked like the heat was down. But all of a sudden, just yesterday, the US Congress voted to withdraw aid. No more aid for Nigeria, is what they're saying. No more aid. Not the HIV aid. No more aid for Nigeria. 100% withdrawal. And they're saying it's over the Christian genocide palaver. Now, this is coming on the heels of a video that Pastor Dachimo put up on X prior to what the US decided. So today, a very, very loud voice in this issue is going to be joining me. His name is Biafra. He's an activist, an advocate, and also a journalist. He was the one that did some mega documentaries some years ago about the Southern Kaduna killings. He was the one that went head-to-head with El-Rufai, then governor of Kaduna State, who is putting his fate in the custody of, anti-graft agency. All right. So, we'll take a short break. When we come back, Biafra Dakoni joins me, and we're going to be talking about a number of issues. North Central, Plateau, as well as Southern Kaduna. Of course, we'll talk about
Up to 100 channels press. For years, and especially in recent months, Christians and other religious minorities in Nigeria have been subjected to violence and terrorism at the hands of extremists operating with impunity. Christian women and girls continue to be abducted, assaulted, tortured, and killed. Their churches are burned, and entire communities are erased. If the aid conditions included in the bill are important enough to withhold half of all the funding to the Nigerian government, then they are important enough to withhold all of the funding. The generosity of our taxpayers is a reflection of the American values we hold so firmly. Never should we allow their hard-earned tax dollars to be funneled to corrupt regimes that fail to uphold religious freedom, fail to adequately confront terrorism, and fail to protect the innocent from persecution. So why are we rewarding a government that fails to meet such a basic obligation? This amendment is simple. It does not remove the aid conditions in the bill, but only strengthens such conditions. But most importantly, it upholds a principle that all recipients of American taxpayer assistance should follow, that they must prove they are willing and able to respond to violence before receiving any funding. Simply put, meet the standard before receiving support. That is the accountability the American taxpayer deserves. Foreign aid should never be a reward for failure. So as our national debt is fast approaching 40 trillion, why on earth are we still allowing ourselves to go further into debt by rewarding corrupt foreign governments that tolerate terrorism within their borders? When churches are burned, women and girls are abducted, and terrorists operate with near impunity,
That is not merely an internal disturbance, it is a direct assault on the freedoms our nation claims to defend, which our foreign assistance must reflect and uphold. This is not about punishing the Nigerian people. It's about demanding accountability for their government's complacency and ensuring that our foreign aid is leveraged to defend, reflect, and uphold American values. Even the underlying bill recognizes the Nigerian government's failure to meet the standard, yet it still allows for half of the funding to be released anyways. My amendment withholds all funds until they meet basic standards. Accountability can never be divided, nor should we allow anyone to exploit the generosity of the American taxpayer. I urge my colleagues to uphold accountability in our foreign aid spending and to vote for my amendment. I reserve.
That is a huge rebuke. So listen closely that you cannot reward funding with faith. And then there's so much, they call the Nigerian government corrupt and unable to tackle terrorism in the country. So this is a huge. So in a short while, of course, I'm going to be having my guest analyst join me to talk about this. And we want to see if Pastor Ezekiel Dachimon's voice really was heard loud and clear. And probably that's why this came a couple of days on the heels of his cry. In case you missed that video, I promise I was going to play it for you. Let's take a listen to Pastor Dachimon.
I'm begging you in the name of Jesus, stop Islamic agenda. All over Nigeria, the Igbos, South Christian, be ready for self-defense. If Nigeria is going to return outside, let it be. Come on. Under Muslims, let's think they want to finish us. Please, I'm waiting for my arrest. It will be far better for me. I will have a relief in police custody, in army custody, guardroom, than to be outside crying every day. Mourning, suffering, popping down, comforting the people. Sakamepo, we will kill you like we kill your brother. Wait for our coming soon. The Fulani didn't know that we have advanced now in self-defense. We are prepared. And I've told my youth with Christianity must survive. Let more security be added in Bakinadi local government. Because if this man is attacked, nothing will stop me from taking the lead into redeeming my people. Christians, wake up! Open your eyes! I've not finished mounting my people. My seat is 9. Now they are writing a letter to my member that they are coming to kill him. Come and kill him. You will see what will happen. Governor, this is Ezekiel Dachimon's speaking. In our Josie, take up. If anything happens with my member, there will be mass revolution in Plateau State. If not, it's going to go down to South. Our patience does not mean we are cowards. We are not afraid of soldiers. We are not, because we know some of them have been infiltrated by Boko Haram. And this is what is happening. We are in bed. Once they strike another village, another ruler should be ready for war.
But just listening to Pastor Ezekiel Dachimon, that is heart-wrenching anytime I listen to him. The emotion raw. But hey, I'm not going to summarize here. I've got my guest, Bevan Magoni. Bevan, I've been waiting for you with bated breath, but I'm so glad you could join us. Thank you for coming aboard. Unmute your device, please, so we can hear you clearly. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, Bevan will take over. Let's stay with us. Catch it? Did you catch it?
Yes, I did. I've always been following up on what the activities of Dr. Dachamo. At a point in time, no matter how much you see or you talk about or how you try to criticize Pastor Dachamo, he's left with no choice. I've been there. I know, at a point in time, I am from Kaduna State. Southern Kaduna was going through what Plateau is experiencing now. And I was not going to speak for Southern Kaduna people, and that's where, and when people like me had no choice but to throw away anything that has to do with dignity or respect or steeze, we had to come out and say, look, you know what, let's take this bull by the horn, and then we started talking, and that's how we got to where we are today. We're left no choice. So whatever you see Reverend Ezekiel Dachamo is doing today, he has no choice. He's left with no choice. He had to do it.
And it looks like the US is listening. I mean, Vivian, we caught the news yesterday where the US Congress has, actually moved that they're withdrawing aid. No aid is going to be into Nigeria for now. And I don't know, maybe I should replay the video for you because they used some very hard words. Described President Tinubu's administration as a failure and politically corrupt and unable to stop terrorism. Do you want me to do a replay for you so that you can, just for context? You want that?
Whatever it is, if you like, but whatever it is, I just feel like
let's do a replay so that you can understand exactly what I'm saying, and then we'll have you say.
All right. And strong support for my amendment to increase the withholding threshold for assistance to Nigeria from 50% to 100%, while keeping in place benchmarks that demand Nigeria take effective steps to address the violence and persecution that continue to devastate the country. Nigeria has faced a horrific wave of violence that its corrupt government has failed to address. For years, and especially in recent months, Christians and other religious minorities in Nigeria have been subjected to violence and terrorism at the hands of extremists operating with impunity. Christian women and girls continue to be abducted, assaulted, tortured, and killed. Their churches are burned, and entire communities are erased. If the aid conditions included in the bill are important enough to withhold half of all the funding to the Nigerian government, they are important enough to withhold all of the funding. The generosity of our taxpayers is a reflection of the American values we hold so firmly. Never should we allow their hard-earned tax dollars to be funneled to corrupt regimes that fail to uphold religious freedom, fail to adequately confront terrorism, and fail to protect the innocent from persecution. So why are we rewarding a government that fails to meet such a basic obligation? This amendment is simple. It does not remove the aid conditions in the bill, but only strengthens such conditions. But most importantly, it upholds a principle that all recipients of American taxpayer assistance should follow, that they must prove they are willing and able to respond to violence before receiving any funding. Simply put, meet the standard before receiving support. That is the accountability the American taxpayer deserves. Foreign aid should never be a reward for failure. So as our national debt is fast approaching $40 trillion, why on earth are we still allowing ourselves to go further into debt by rewarding corrupt foreign governments that tolerate terrorism within their borders? When churches are burned, women and girls are abducted, and terrorists operate with near impunity, that is not merely an internal disturbance, it is a direct assault on the freedoms our nation claims to defend, which our foreign assistance must reflect and uphold. This is not about punishing the Nigerian people. It is about demanding accountability for their government's complacency and ensuring that our foreign aid is leveraged to defend, reflect, and uphold American values. Even the underlying bill recognizes the Nigerian government's failure to meet the standard, yet it still allows for half of the funding to be released anyways. My amendment withholds all funds until they meet basic standards. Accountability can never be divided, nor should we allow anyone to exploit the generosity of the American taxpayer. I urge my colleagues to uphold accountability in our foreign aid spending and to vote for my amendment. I reserve.
So, Vivian, like I said earlier on, that was a huge rebuke there. I don't know what you make of that. Before I come in with what Mike Ejiofor. Mike Ejiofor used to be the DG or the director, DSS. He was kidnapped once upon a time in Kogi. He talked about his ordeal right here on hashtag just yesterday. And he talked a little bit about the difference, in what's happening in the North Central and what's happening in the South. He said in the North Central and in Southern Kaduna, places like that is Benue and Kogi, it's all about land grabbing. But he said in the Southwest, it's terrorism. But it looks like the US Congress doesn't even want any differentiation here. So what do you make of what the US Congress just said about Nigeria and its inability to tackle terrorism?
So in the first place, I think in Nigeria we have lack of leadership. That's the number one thing anyone has to understand. Everybody's playing, especially the political leaders, they are playing politics with people's lives. And what the US Congress is doing right now, it's a welcome development. Because I don't think I ever benefited, or my people ever benefited from whatever aid that comes to Nigeria. And if people keep being killed on a daily basis, on the basis of politics, and we have foreign intervention coming in, and they feel like they can use that as a yardstick, like no more what's happening in Nigeria. The more we have or we talk about insecurity, the more security votes. And if that is what Nigerian government thinks is going to keep on happening, and the US is saying, look, we've been supporting you enough in fighting insurgency and terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, whatever it is you call it. They have so many nomenclatures. But at this moment, right now, what the US government says is what I support. Cut the funding.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Cut the funding. Okay. Cut the funding, not just cut the funding. Whatever you can do. And to tackle this thing that's happening to Nigerian Christians, and I mean, go ahead and do it. We deserve it. We are, I'm sorry to say, I will use the word reckless and shameless. We're not ashamed of ourselves. Our leaders are not ashamed. They are not. It's pathetic what is happening to people. And this is because the victims are mostly people who have nothing, no say in the society. These are people who are vulnerable, who are weak, who are financially unstable. In fact, you can't even say financially unstable, who are poor. You can't use the word financially unstable on them. Because when you say someone is financially unstable, money comes in, it goes out. These people are poor, they are broke. They are nothing in the society, but they keep on being the victims. We're talking about women, children, girls, school children. These are the most affected people. These guys are sleeping in their huts, in their villages, in their homes, where they find comfort. The most vulnerable in the society. And then we have this bunch of cowards come in the middle of the night and spray them with bullets, burn their house, destroy everything, loot. And the ones they manage to kidnap, they end up violating through rape. The dehumanization is out of this world. And if the US says what we send across Nigeria is feeling this, let's stop it, then the US is absolutely right. I think they can do more. They should go ahead and, I'm sorry to say, I'm not going to encourage the word. Nigeria is an independent country. Mm-hmm. It has this sovereign state. So invasion is not the word to use, or whatever it takes.
Do you want to use intervention?
No. You say?
Do you want to use the word intervention instead of invasion?
Intervention. Intervention is what they're doing. Intervention is what they're doing right
okay.
now. Intervention is
but you'd rather an invasion, right? Which is what prompts white nation. You remember how he's threatening that, look, if you guys don't get your acts together, we're going to invade your territory. And people in the authorities went for that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Let him invade. Let him invade. We've seen too much. And this is because, I'm saying this because people don't understand what we went through or what we've been going through. For me, and where I come from, Southern Kaduna, for example, things have been brought under control, and it's not as bad as it used to be. But then we want accountability. We want the people who did all those dirts to us to be held accountable. Let them do whatever. So if it means invasion, not intervention, okay, intervention is what is happening right now. But if it means invasion, please go ahead and do it. Whosoever is found culpable, whosoever is found guilty, whosoever is found involved in all of this, please pick him up, deal with him decisively in whatever form and manner. Let the person face the consequences, because we cannot allow our women, our children, our family members to be violated in these ways. Not one, not two. We're talking about thousands. At a point in time in Southern Kenya, we had funerals on a daily basis. People were not being buried. Dead bodies were being picked up, poured. They will pour them inside, what do you call it? Pits that were being dug, and then you just pour people inside and cover it. I'm not talking from the point of view of someone who didn't lose a relative. I lost two family members. One, my niece, Bridget, she was 16, and then my elder sister. My elder sister was one of the last people that were killed in 2023 before the general election. And my sister was buried like a pea. Talatu was the most peace-loving person. She was the most coolest, calmest, the most friendly person. The only time you pick offense with Talatu was when you're having a conversation with her and she started to laugh at you. She loved to laugh. She was joyful. She was a happy person. I can't remember. I never had a misunderstanding with her, Talatu. I never had a fight with her. Nobody. She's always laugh. She will laugh at you. Her laughter was, I still remember, every time I think about her, I think about how she laughs at stuff. She will laugh so like she was boisterous about her laughter. And you will feel it. You will get angry and there's nothing you can do. This is some sort of nostalgia. You know, this kind of people that will laugh at you. Instead of you to get angry, you join them to laugh. That's kind of powerful. Talatu was buried without dignity. Talatu was dragged. She was on the heavy side. Like when I say she wasn't pregnant, she's chubby. So she was dragged like this and jumped into that pit with other people and was buried in a mass grave.
And you watched? You watched?
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
So whatever it is, it's not revenge. I'm just saying, let it be done the right way. Whosoever is involved, please let them face the consequences of their action.
In case the viewer doesn't know Bivan he's talking about what he knows. Bivan, you did a documentary, Sadden Kaduna, Blood, Tears, Anger, very well televised. It went viral. It documented the ordeal of the people of Southern Kaduna. Southern Kaduna really is mainly Christian dominated, right?
Yeah.
So would you say what happened then is, would you say it falls under Christian genocide?
Yes, it does. It does. 100%. It does. Because in the first place, when we talk about what happened in Southern Kaduna, and then people try to bring comparisons on what happened or what's happening in Borno State, what's happening in Zamfara State. They are all three different stories. What's happening in the Middle Belt is different.
Yeah.
And then they try to confuse people with, it's farmers hunters clash. It has to do with global warming or global whatever it is. There are some terminologies that are being used. But there are three different things. Yeah. Now, in the first place, when you talk about what happened in Borno State, for a fact, I wanted to serve in Borno State when I finished university. I really wanted to serve because I wanted to experience what was happening in that state. I needed to have it first time. Unfortunately, I've never been to Borno State. So what I wanted to do, I wanted to find out. I don't lie. I've been studying. I read a lot. And I follow up on the news. And of course, I'm a journalist. I'm a media person. So what happened in Borno State? What's happening in Borno State? Boko Haram, they're against education. Formal education. In places like Zamfara State, it is the Fulani pastor down south. Now remember, when Nigerians started talking about what happened, started talking about Boko Haram, who were the first people to defend them? It was Northern Nigerians. Completely. I remember when the Boko Haram started, I was in secondary school, and Northern Nigerians were like, they're killing our people. These guys don't want to understand. They don't want to open their minds to what is happening. Okay, that was the bonus state. And then it started spiraling out of control, little by little, from state to state. And I've been in Lagos I left Lagos like 10 years ago, and then I came back this year. I've been in Lagos for the past few months. And what I'm seeing, if I begin to talk about it right now, I don't know, DSS will come after me. I know people. But here's the point. What we went through in Cardinal State, what we saw is not the same thing. What is happening in the Middle Belt is not the same thing as what's happening in Borno State and Zamfara State. They're two different things. For me, when you ask me, Borno State is majority Muslims. Muslims, he started and then targeting Christians and other minority descent voices, and then it started spreading. This thing has developed and carried on different places.
So it's sort of like it's sort of like a hydra-headed monster, right?
Hydra-headed monster.
Yes, that's what
the word.
That's what it is.
But everything started from northern Nigeria. Everything started from northern Nigeria, from the religious leaders, the educated ones you expect that will help are the worst. I'm sorry to say, most of them, not all of them. So if anybody wants to criticize me, you better use the word, you better consider the word I use. Most, there are so many of them that are not in support of what's happening. So from Borno State, it spread across northern states. And then you go to the Middle Belt. When you go to the Middle Belt, farmers had a splash, and farmers had a splash. I grew up in the village. I was born and raised in the village. Zangokata local government area of Kaduna State to be precise. In my father's house, there were so many rooms. And if anything happened, what was supposed to happen, if every season, Fulanis will come in, and then my father will provide them accommodation, give them a house, and then they will give us manure, cow dung, and all of that. And we'll give them accommodation out there, treat them right and nice. If there was a misunderstanding that a child or young person or young Fulani person who is supposed to take care of the cattle, and the cattle stray into somebody's farm, the Fulani person will trace you to your house and say, look, this is what happened. I am very sorry, but I'm ready to make amends. How much can I use to compensate you? That was what used to happen. Fulanis were carrying cutlasses, but it got to the point where Fulanis are using AK-47. So not on the men, no. They say farmers had a clash. A clash is supposed to happen in the field. It's supposed to be a battlefield kind of thing. But people are sleeping peacefully. And it is women and children. One particular point, a month-old pregnant woman, when one is pregnant, they'll kill her in the open up stomach and kill the baby.
Oh gosh, that's very graphic. But Vivian, let's explore this thing about the farmer-headed clash that you're talking about, because you're refusing to buy that story. So environmentalists will say global warming has led to drought in the north, some parts of the north, and so herders are moving over to find greener pastures. That once upon a time there used to be grazing routes in Nigeria, but no more. There are no more grazing routes. So these farmers invade farmlands, and then of course there is no peace between the herders and the farmers, and so it resolves into a clash. But you're saying you're not buying that story. It's what I get you. Right? You're saying this is evil disguising as farmer herders clash.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
because you can't tell me it's a farmer herders clash. There was a way that they set a dispute between farmers and herders. That's not what is happening right now. What's happening here is targeted organized crime against indigenous people.
All right. So I want for us to wrap this particular one up, because you're saying yes, the US should do whatever it wants to do and end or help end Christian genocide in Nigeria once and for all. Let's talk about something else that you're passionate about. In fact, just yesterday, I had Professor Khalifa Dikwa. You will know him. He is the Dean Borno Elder Sparrow. He is very vocal as well. And he accused this administration of coming up with anti-people policies. And he said that Nigerians are being squeezed left, right, and center. And if it doesn't stop, there might be an uprising. We are not even advising that, but hey, he's saying he's giving a hand to the the handwriting on the wall. So that takes us to our next hashtag, anti-people policies. Nigeria Info FM has this particular post now. I'd like for us to take a look at it. It's referring to what the World Bank said about poverty in Nigeria and how the World Bank said, let's take a look at the post by Nigeria Info. We are taking a look at anti-people policies. So, this is Nigeria Info FM, and it says the World Bank says about 79% of Nigerians remain poor or vulnerable to falling into poverty despite nearly 3 years of economic reforms by the federal government. The assessment is contained in the bank's newly approved country partnership framework 2026 to 2030 and streamlined country diagnosis, which outlined a set.
This is from Biafra's Got Talent. We are letting Biafrans know the reason why we should remember those who gave their lives for us, those who died, that we may live.
You died to end my suffering. You died fighting for my freedom. Your blood is the seed of redemption. You are my inspiration.
The deed no wrong with them, military shots at them. 67 to 70, we remember them. 2016, 38 May, memory still lives in our mind till today. Wonder why they refuse to publicize the genocide. The world media turn blind eyes to our plight. It's time to arise, land of the rising sun. Let's rise one more time, let's rise.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright. Tell them I got that day. Remember when me tell you say I got that day.
Yeah, I remember that one that called us a Bruce Mero. Like a papa nuku, but then when we go hero, me tell you what I look pandi, what pandi samiro, me tell you what I day. For me the plan and the rest of man, I tell you what I do. Me no back and forth, me tell them say what
I want to promise you something today. We must fight together, no retreat and no surrender. We must hold them down till the end of time. The most important thing is that we will restore Biafra.
I look up to the sky with tears in my eyes. For other Biafrans, if for freedom had to die, we will never forget you as the days go by. You are always in my heart, you'll never be apart. They fought for our freedom, they died for our freedom. They fought the Nigerian soldiers in the war front, without food, without guns, for our freedom, for our life, for our own good, for our children. We love them, our heroes, we want them.
My heart bleeds when I saw them slain. Where will I be now, if not then? They will remain indelible in my heart, forever, 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 and ever, and ever, and ever.
We serve in your plantation, and the way you paid us back with your bloody starvation. We bled in our history, that the death of our people is a mystery. No going back to get to a victory. I had a voice now, call for vengeance. I never get bombed, I'ma blow like a vengeance. Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes. Those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Where will I be now? If not you, you died at Mali.
Then we are starved to death because of our freedom, and they paid the debt for our freedom. Flag high for those that died in the genocide, fighting for you and I. There is pain in our heart, we bleeding inside, tears in the eyes of our fallen heroes.
This is my fallen heroes. Give them a motivation, people. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Cause to be a gas, I need to be a nurse. If we did not retire,
they pay the ultimate price. They die for me, for the freedom of unborn child. We live for the legacy.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen hero. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright. Yo, we will never forget our fallen hero. Onitsha massacre, Iwata massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Yeah, put the flag in the air. Never be afraid. March on, cause we are more than conquerors. Yeah.